What's up everyone, welcome back to Just Finished Coding. This is part 6 of our Connect 4 series on Scratch 3, so let's get coding.
Just finished coding.
Now quick interjection here, if you've not watched parts 1 to 5, please watch them before you come here because we're picking up from where we left off and you'll be very lost. I'll leave a card for you right here. Please watch the videos and then come right back. If you're still here, I'm going to assume that you've watched parts 1 to 5, in which case you need to make a couple of changes within your controller sprite. So right below in our win4 function, I actually made a mistake and that was not changing the last value to be -3. So I'm going to do that, and now I'm going to scroll back right up to my win2 function. And in this function, you need to make a couple of major changes. So first of all, if you think about what's happening, this function is not going to work at all because we've inversed the K and the L. So they actually need to be the other way around, and you need to do that for all of the four values where you have item of board within board coordinates. So make sure you do that. I'm going to do that. Just swap the K and L and then I'll be right back. So I just finished changing all of them up. You can see I've swapped the K and the L. So now you want to head over right back up to where you had this change move message. And if you think about what's happening here, the parameter that we are inputting into each of the functions is turn. But we are actually going to be checking for the wrong player. So in case you know the turn in this case, we want to check for P, we'll actually be checking it for Q instead. So we'd have to make a move right after the player has won to even find out that he's won. And that's not a good thing, and that's because we need to swap the order of the check winner function. Alternatively, if you do not want to do that, what you have to do is hard code that value in or have an if condition. Not a good thing to do, but better is just changing these two things. And this should ensure that you do have a working Connect 4 game. Now obviously we have no end screen yet, but in case you want to check all of these functions, what you can do is to head over to the Connect 4 board, and then from events, grab this block which says change move, and you can just put in a new message. First one, you can call it P wins, and then you could just hide the board. So in case either of the player won, then the board's just going to hide. And to make sure the same thing happens for the green coin, just make sure you have another message, and this is going to be called Q wins. And this is pretty much going to make sure that you have that effect happening in case you win or the opponent wins, for example. And in case this thing works, you can move on to the end screen. So I'm going to throw off those blocks right there and get into our end screen code. Our end screen is probably the easiest of all sprites, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint a sprite. And the costumes, I've actually downloaded them already within this file and I've kept them ready in my backpack. Now don't worry if you don't know how I did that, that's perfectly fine. All you have to do is to scroll over to choose a sprite and then click on upload sprite. And then you have to navigate through your files to find the downloaded file, which if you've not downloaded already will be linked in the description below. So what I can do if I have stuff in my backpack is to just drag and drop it, and that's what I'm going to do. So once you've put in these two costumes, you can just within the costume just click upload costume in case you don't have this set up. Anyway, so once you have this done, now you can get into the code of the end screen. So when the green flag is clicked, what I'm going to do is to hide the end screen, because we obviously don't want this to show when the game has just begun. But we also wanted to go to some coordinate right at the top. So if you remember, right at the beginning, the end screen came down with a sound effect, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say go to, X is going to be 0, but Y is going to be 238. And now you may think, well, the Y coordinates are only up till 180, and you'd be correct. But the thing is, you can extend this Y coordinate as long as there's some part of the sprite that's going to stick below 180. So I think this is about 60 pixels tall, and we'd have 2 pixels below the top. So that's going to work out just as fine. Alright, so now we need to get into when we receive those two messages. So first I'm going to say when I receive and new message, I'm going to say P wins. Well, in this case, the player 1 is going to win. So what player 1 corresponds to is this red wins right here. and I've called that costume P. So I can switch costume to P right at the beginning, and then I can show myself. Now once I've shown myself, this is probably the place where we'd want to begin the sound effect, but I'm going to have the motion code first before that, and the motion code is glide 1.5 seconds to 2x0 and y0. That's pretty much it. That's all our motion is going to be, and that'll ensure we slowly glide down to the center of the stage. Now for our sound effect, that link will be in the description right well. So you could first rename your sprite end screen, and now you can get into the sound effect. And to do that, head over to sounds. You can delete this pop sound which you may find in there, and within choose a sound, you can click on that magnifying glass or that choose a sound icon itself, and this will take you to the sound library, and you could choose any sound there you want. But if you want to upload your own sound, which is what I'll be doing, you want to click on upload sound right here, and you can click on the sound effect from your libraries, and this is your sound effect. You can see we have a nice wave here. You can make it louder or softer. I'm not going to do any of that. You can just customize that as you want. But if you want to have the sound starting with your code, what you can do is to head over to the sound tab, and instead of play sound until done, you just have start sound you win. And now you can just duplicate this, change this to be Q wins. So just have a new message here, Q wins, and I'm going to change this costume to be Q, and that is pretty much it. This will ensure that your end screen works, and when either of the player wins, the thing comes scrolling down and you have the end screen just as you want. Now keep in mind that this game is going to have a lot of lag, and especially if you have a slower computer, you're going to feel it all the more. So in the next video, I'll be teaching you how you can fix the lag with some improvements in your code to make sure it runs parallelly as opposed to running each script individually. That's a whole different thing, guys. I'll keep it for another video, and that's it we'll be doing in this video. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a like, and also don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.